Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Claw on the King podcast. I'm joined by my co-host Dopey. We've had a sort of a lull apart from the Olympics. It's been quite fun. Obviously, I'm not a big Olympics guy, but with the lack of sort of other sports, I find myself kind of drawn to it. So it's been a good watch. How about you? Have you been keying in on the Olympics or?
Yeah, well, it's on every day, so it's hard not to. It's been sort of it is kind of annoying though because all the good events are at like 3 a.m. our time. Yeah. So all the heats and shit are on at 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Thing, yeah. And then if you actually want to watch the medal events, you have to wake up at 2 a.m. So I haven't been doing that. But you know, it is what it is. Australia have done very well. I think our best ever Olympics.
In every event apart from one. We've done exceptional. Which look, we'll get on.
Also, if you're female, you've done exceptional. The men suck. I mean, I think they've got 2 gold medals.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
The rest is all women. Yeah. Shout out to them.
Shout out. Anyway, change of location. I've moved house, so that is the reason for the change of location.
We actually own a podcast studio though.
Oh yeah, sorry. The change of podcast studio.
Same shutters though. Looks the exact same.
It looks the exact same, so you won't be missing out on anything. So yeah, I like it. It's a bit more of a different vibe. Obviously, you've got the background glare if you need it, but obviously not a huge fan of that. Anyway, sport. Did you want to head on into the Olympics and
we can
touch on
sort of chat about the Olympics? Yeah. There's obviously a lot of big stories have come out of it. Is there anything you want to start in particular?
Well, look, we can start off with the most recent. Now, I think a lot of people were very critical of the inclusion of breakdancing into the Olympics, just because, is it a sport? I wouldn't think so. No, not saying it doesn't require skill or like athleticism.
No, but fishing requires skill.
Yeah. It's kind of on that sort of wavelength. It's more of an artistic thing anyway. But anyway, by the by, there's rhythmic gymnastics, rhythmic, underwater, when they do those, when everyone's together.
Synchronized
swimming. So there's artistic sort of sports. So it's not the end of the world. And, other countries have done quite well. And, we've had one really good breakdancer because they're athletic. They can go around on their head. Now, we have had a lecturer from Macquarie Uni just show up in the Olympics. And look, the Olympics are about giving your best. However, there is a line, in my opinion. You've got to be somewhat athletic to compete in the Olympics. Otherwise, it's just a spit in the face. Yeah, I don't know what how about we start off in your take on it? Is it, now she's being sort of viewed as either a national treasure or a complete embarrassment to the country. Now, where do you stand on that scale? Are you in the middle or are you far on each side?
It's hard. I can see the national treasure sort of element because she's just, doing her best and clearly not up to it, but she's trying. But for me, it's the Olympics, which is, growing up, I always thought it was the pinnacle of sports. It's the biggest sporting competition in the world. It's meant to be the best of the best against the best of the best athletes in the world, essentially. And it's a weird look to see someone, hopping up and down pretending she's a kangaroo trying to get a medal.
But it's the way she moves as well. It's like you clearly have zero athletic ability. Like it's clear I could do a better job. And I don't say that. Now we say that like basketball. Oh, I could be better than Jaylen Brown with my left hand. We say that about things, obviously in a colloquial view. Like we're not being serious. But I genuinely through my whole heart believe if you gave me a month to learn breakdancing, I could do a better job. And that's embarrassing for the nation. Now, it's gone global. Like people from America, people from everywhere are talking about it.
Yeah, and all the comments are like, "Oh, drink 2 beers and rock up to the Olympics, have a go."
And it's like, how are the commentators not laughing? How are the judge? I think she didn't get a single point from the judges as well, which was great.
But the whole sport in general is a little bit weird to me. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Step Up or
yes,
those
I
movies.
Have,
yeah, where it's like a literal dance battle where you're just facing off from each other and doing it. It's just weird to me to see at the Olympics. I feel like in recent years, it feels like they've added a lot of sports, and it's starting to take the piss a little bit for me.
Yeah.
Even golf. Although I love golf, it's weird at the Olympics for me. surfing as well, skating. Even though we won 2 golds in skating, it just seems weird to be at the Olympics for me. But yeah, I don't know. Are there any sports that you're like, I don't know why this is here, or the sports you think should be there?
Well, breakdancing, I don't think is going to be in the next one. I think it was more. I think they picked it because it's popular in Paris. Who gives a fuck?
Right. Did they win?
I don't know. I've been watching the breakdancing, if I'm honest, but that's by the by. Anyway, yeah, a mainstay. Obviously, the shooting is a bit weird. I've never really thought about shooting, especially all the gear they wear, but the viral Turkish guy who's just rocked up and
the hitman,
clearly an assassin that Turkey have hired, and said, "Look, you've killed 300 people. How about you go onto the Olympic stage and get a medal?" So, yeah, I actually quite like the shooting this year. So, I don't think there's any that stands out apart from breakdancing, because you can argue that they're all sports, and like I said, rhythmic, gymnastics or synchronized swimming is a bit weird, but we all classify them as Olympic sports just because they're new. A couple of those sports like golf and surfing and skating that people are a bit, but I think there's definite skill and they are sports. Obviously, the surfing's a bit trickier because you need a country that has waves. It's lucky that France have colonized the island of Tahiti, so they can use that.
Yeah,
but yeah, on the break, that I think, in my opinion, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Now, if it's a nation like Mozambique and you're throwing out like a swimmer and everyone's like cheering them on because clearly they have no better, but surely there is a breakdancer in Australia that is better than that.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's hundreds of them that go on Australia's Got Talent or all those shows every year.
Sure, I mean, surely there's some. But yeah, it's just embarrassing. Like a first-class Olympic nation who are coming third. Imagine if in the 100 meters we trotted out an old fat bloke and he ran a 25-second 100-meter. Like, that would be embarrassing from a nation that is top 3 in gold medals.
Yeah.
It's just embarrassing. And she sort of responded to the hate, I believe today or yesterday, saying, I want to see the men get criticised for what they wear. And it's like, it's not what you wore. It's the fact that you look like a Muppet dancing around.
What, so she thought people were unhappy with the outfit?
Yeah, that's why people were giving her hate. Now, people did clown the outfit, but that was like 5% of the hate. 95% of the hate was like, what are you doing? You are absolutely shocking at this sport. Why are you at the Olympics? And it's just, it's funny. It's not that bad.
Her name is Raygun.
Raygun. What is that? What is that?
Well, it's the best weapon in COD Zombies.
There you go. Maybe she's a big COD Zombies guy. But no, I wouldn't say it's completely embarrassing because it's still the Olympics and it's all about trying. But I don't know how she qualified. I saw that she did qualifying, but like, how does that work?
They obviously they rated the artistry in her performance.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Apparently, that's what she does. Like, she studies, like, or she lectures about like contemporary arts or like some bullshit like that.
Right.
So
but I feel like breakdancing, maybe there's a lane for that sort of dancing, but breakdancing is about spins and flips and shit, is it not?
Yes. Yeah, it is. And you've got to have athleticism to do it. And you can't be like moving like a tortoise and just like, it's like it. You made that comment about being drunk. Like, it's literally like being drunk and like just trying to breakdance. I'm not even like how slow it is. How she's just bunny hopping, how she's doing like the Michael Jackson Thriller. I don't know what you're doing, love, but you need to stop. But yeah, apart from the breakdancing, very good Olympics. I don't think we've touched on it.
Well, it's kind of good, but it's also been kind of flamed for how Paris has ran it. I mean, your favourite country, obviously.
I love good French people.
I think all of the athletes essentially have fled the village because it's not livable. Yeah,
well, the food apparently is all vegan, which is just horrendous for an elite performance athlete who needs, now obviously you can sustain a vegan diet if you have like different supplements, but these athletes don't have, they need this food. Like, you can't just be doing that.
And the beds are cardboard.
The cardboard. Now I think a lot of people are saying, why did they introduce it this year? I think they did it in Tokyo as well, the renewable beds. So, but still, you need like premium. Like that is how you recover as an athlete, especially athletes that are competing multiple days within a week. It's not like they're just one and done.
And it's meant to be like, you know, the Olympic Village is meant to be this prestigious thing. You work your whole life to get there, and it's meant to be this amazing place of just athletes, exclusive. And it's a luxurious place and a privilege to be there. And you rock up, and it's just a fucking piece of cardboard and some carrots.
Yeah.
I would be like, what the fuck have I just worked my whole life for? You know?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty embarrassing how it's been run. Obviously, the opening ceremony got a bit of flack as well, but in general, I think it's been good vibes apart from the start and the end with the breakdancing for Australia. Obviously, with the swimming, and we did better than we thought we would do in sort of athletics, and the pole vault, I think we won as well. So that's obviously great to see. Us third. But yeah, apart from that, it's been a pretty smooth sailing Olympics, I reckon.
Yeah. We can talk about the basketball as well. Obviously, the gold medal match happened this morning.
Yep.
USA won. Kind of in doubt. I always thought they were going to win, but I mean, there was a couple of close games with Serbia and France. Obviously everyone's going on about the big three of KD, LeBron, and Steph. I think LeBron won MVP of the tournament, and it is insane how those three 35-plus-year-olds are still the best players in the world. Even with all these young guns on Team USA, I mean, everyone was flaming Tatum for not getting a minute.
Good. He doesn't deserve a minute. He's crap. Well, he's not crap, but he's not top. He's not better than any of the players that.
No. Have you seen all the memes about his jump shot that have come out recently?
No.
Just like he's got the zestiest jump shot because you know how he kind of does his hump into it.
Yeah.
Everyone's just been flaming him for having a zesty jump shot.
That's just a bit too far. Like he just gets flamed for being Tatum. Now he does have a zesty kid, but that's by the by. Obviously the main thing about Australia. Losing to Serbia, we blew a 21 point lead?
24, I think.
24 point lead, which is crazy.
And the coaches resigned, thankfully. I was going to come on here and say that brother's got to go, but he's gone.
Well, apparently we look good, and then because you can't watch the basketball because it's been on so late. But
no, I watched it. That game was on like 10:30. So
was it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we lost, but
and it was we were playing really well, but the coaching was horrendous. I mean.
Really?
Yeah, Dellavedova was getting extended minutes in the fourth quarter.
In 2024, Dellavedova is still a mainstay.
Yeah, and you know, when you're leaving people like Thibault at home and picking fucking Dellavedova to give minutes, it's a bit inexcusable, to be honest. And yeah, Josh Green got 0 minutes. Dyson Daniels was stinking it up. Joe Ingles was getting 0 minutes. So it was just awful. The rotations were terrible. The schemes were bad. It was essentially ISO ball, hero ball with Patty Mills. And Giddy. And Patty Mills had one of his better games. He made some like bullshit that he would never make again in his life. But
that's his Australia.
Yeah, but it was never going to work against Jokic and Bogdanovic. So yeah, we got what we deserved. Hopefully we can progress from here. Giddy was, he was good, but he's a turnover machine as well. So,
well, yeah. How is the future of Australian basketball? Obviously, you mentioned Giddy, Dyson Daniels, Josh Green. Are they great players? Now, look, Patty Mills was never a great NBA player. Joe Ingles was never great as an NBA player, but it does kind of feel like we're on a downward trajectory. Is that? Would you say that's fair to say in terms of talent?
Well, it's weird because we won the bronze at Tokyo, so you would say objectively we are on a downtrend. And yeah, the talent, but you could say Giddy is the best talent we've had, maybe ever, in terms of someone that's
Ben
apart
Simmons.
from Simmons, but fuck that guy. So why didn't he play? Is he
Ben Simmons?
Why do I even ask anymore?
Did you see? I think who came out with a podcast? Someone did, and
he's done another podcast.
No,
explaining his 3 years of
him.
absence.
It was someone else talked about it. I can't remember, but they said in the sort of the late sort of events of the Sixers and how everyone would try and hype Ben up, and when he'd come into the facility, be greeting and try and get him back on the court, make him feel happy, and everyone would say, "Oh, hi, how are you, Ben?" And he'd just be like, "So," and he was just apparently the biggest cancer in the, and it seems like that anyway, and it's just a bit of a bad. I mean, we had sort of such a promising, trio. If you think about it, if we had Giddy, Ben Simmons, and you obviously have Patty Mills there, I thought we'd probably have a good shot in this Olympics. But obviously Ben not being there and Giddy sort of falling off this year with the Thunder. And look, he's still a very promising player, and he's come out with a few memes. I mean, he said some bad things. Well, not bad things.
He's had a rough year, but...
He's had a rough year, but yeah, essentially I don't know. In my opinion, anyway, Dyson Daniels, has he ever really cut it in the NBA?
No, but he's a guy that you can see he's good defensively, and if he can get his shot to be decent, he'll be a good NBA
I feel like
player.
we're filled with that, though.
Yeah.
I like Josh Green, not a great shooter. Josh Giddey, not a great shooter. They're all going to play. I mean, they're our three best young players.
We had this guy
that.
called McVeigh, who I believe played in the NBL this season. I think for the Taipans, they might have won or something, but he was really good. Like, came on, nailed. It felt like he made like 50% of his threes, just lighting it up. I think he signed a two-way in the NBA, maybe with Houston, but he was really good.
Okay,
so
fair. We got Jock Landale, is that?
Yeah, we got Landale, who's, he's a decent center, but, when he's going against Embiid and Jokic, what can you do?
Much.
So, but yeah, America won. Any takeaways from that? Obviously, I cannot get over the Embiid being on America. I just can't get with it.
It's crazy.
I just cannot get with it at all. I'm sorry, but
I mean, look, it happens with other countries. I think it's just more obvious when you have a country like America who have all these great players, and then they add another one who's clearly not from America. It just is a bit of a, I mean, is he going to play for Cameroon? No, but he's not going to play for a national team if he doesn't play for the US. So I'm a bit and ahhing about it. It is a bit tricky, but I don't hate it as much as you do, probably. I think it's, if he's got his citizenship, do you have to have a citizenship?
I don't know. Who knows?
But I think they're winning without him anyway. Yeah. What do you make of now Durant? I heard obviously Dave Portnoy on his social sort of put out about Durant that like everyone is glazing Durant on Twitter and how he's a two-time Olympic champion. I don't know, but he's sort of carried.
Isn't he a four-time?
Oh, four-time maybe. That he sort of has carried that modern USA team for quite a while. He's played in a lot of major tournaments and on a lot of Olympics, and people are sort of obviously giving him his props. Now Dave came out and said that he's nothing without Steph Curry. What's your opinion?
In terms of his NBA legacy?
In terms of his overall legacy, is he?
Well, you could say that after the last two games where Steph was insane and essentially got them over the line to win the gold. But I wouldn't say that. I mean, Steph wasn't at the first 2012, 16 or 20 Olympics.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I think KD's the all-time leading scorer in Olympics history.
Yeah, he is.
So,
but would he be winning without Steph Curry?
Well, not on an NBA level, no.
Okay.
Well, we've seen that so far. He hasn't won without him, so.
Well, that's fair. Well, I thought I'd just bring it up. Obviously, he's been a bit of talk about Durant and his legacy recently. But yeah.
But I think he's well and truly the third guy of this generation, I think.
It's a bit sad, though, because he was always hyped up to be the next guy. And I think because LeBron had such an extended run at number one, I think it kind of hampered him.
Yeah.
Now, everyone, after he won his MVP, thought he would take the mantle from LeBron, but he's never sort of done that. Now, is he going to do it this year? Probably not. Is he going to get traded? I mean, there's rumors that he's going to get traded out of Phoenix, so we'll keep our eyes peeled for that. But yeah, should be interesting.
Well, yeah, LeBron has sort of just stifled the legacies of all these guys, to be honest, because there's no, was there a time where Steph Curry was ever actually the best player in the world? It's arguable, but...
It's arguable. It is arguable.
And since then, Giannis, you throw in for 1 year, Jokic maybe the last year.
Yeah.
And then, it's just alternating every year, essentially,
Well, who is the next guy?
Well, this year you cannot say anyone from Boston, so you'd still say Jokic, I guess, or Doncic, yeah.
Well, that's a sort of common thought that I've been hearing on podcasts and different sort of media personalities, is it going to be... Now, obviously, we went from Jordan to Kobe to LeBron. Is there going to be that transition, or is it just going to be, because of how competitive the league is and how much talent there is and how spread out the talent is it just going to be sort of an alternating role between maybe five guys?
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, it depends. I mean, Luka is probably the guy that has the opportunity, because he's still young enough, to go on a 5-year stretch of being the best player in the world.
Yeah.
I would say he's the only guy at the moment that could do that. Or maybe Anthony Edwards.
And maybe. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, moving on. Is there another sport you'd like to sort of jump into, or Other than obviously the basketball season, not much to talk about at the moment. Obviously, it's a bit
off
of
season
summer league action. The Clippers did well in the summer league for the first time in God knows how long, but still got a bunch of bums and no Paul George, so that's great.
Yeah.
When does the NBA season start?
September, October
time. Well, look,
Around
that's
there.
when it all starts. So that's when the NFL starts. It's when Premier League's starting soon. I believe in a week.
There is like no time off in Premier League. It's just
No,
like,
there isn't. Well, we had the Community Shield this morning. We can segue into football for
They
a
win?
bit. No, we lost. Lost on pens, which wasn't great. Main takeaways from that, from a United fan, was, I mean, I stayed up and watched it. Rashford looked shocking. Missed 2 really solid chances. I mean, really solid.
So who was starting? Garnacho and
Rashford. Sancho came on, missed a pen. Great. In Wembley again.
in 90 minutes or in
No, it went to penalties. So we drew the game, and then it doesn't do extra time. It goes straight to pens. So that was great. But look, Ahmad looked good, which was obviously good to see. And that's sort of the main positive one to take away. Not really much. And look, to be fair, the way it was played, it was a glorified preseason game. It was a glorified friendly. There was no competitiveness. I think City had a midfield of Kovacic, like O'Reilly and some other geezer. They didn't have De Bruyne starting. They didn't have Rodri starting. So, to be fair, not the greatest team. Maguire and Johnny Evans were our centre-backs. So, again, not our best team either. So,
what about Lenny? He got injured in his first game, and he's
boy,
out for months.
my French man. Got injured, unfortunately. First preseason game.
He's literally Varane 2.0.
He is literally Varane. That is what you want. When he plays, he's great. When he's injured half the time, so that's not perfect. But I think he's out 3 months, so not the best for us. However, confirmed this morning, we are signing De Ligt and Mezraoui from Bayern in a combined deal.
Right.
Both, so obviously De Ligt. Do you know De Ligt?
Yeah. He used to play for Juve?
Used to play for Juve, correct.
Dang.
At Bayern at the moment. Was at Ajax, was a captain of Ajax under Ten Hag at 18 years old when they got to the semi-finals of the Champo. So I actually quite like the signing of De Ligt. Obviously, we need the centre-backs at the moment with Lenny out. And I think we'd need one anyway. I think when you've got... Obviously, Martinez is a first-choice centre-back, but you haven't got much else apart from Lenny. So and
Johnny Evans.
Yeah, Johnny Evans and Maguire. So that's great. But yeah, no, I actually
Left
quite...
backs? Is Shaw healthy?
I'd imagine so. He did play...
I can't believe... I looked him up the other day. I think he's still in his 20s.
Yeah,
I thought he's got to be 35 at this point.
No. Well, he signed for us when he was 19. He was a really young
But he was
signing.
at Southampton before, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he was one of the most talented players in the world.
Mm.
And then he's just been injured the whole time at United. So... Look, takeaways. If we put De Ligt in that team, we put Martinez, I think that's going to be a really good combination. Obviously, De Ligt's 6'4", 6'5". Really good header of the ball, really good leader. So him alongside Martinez. Hopefully Luke Shaw's fit. Onana isn't a dope. That's...
Wan-Bissaka, is he first choice,
Wan-Bissaka's shipped off. So,
he's gone.
Yeah, he's out to West Ham. So that was sort of contingent on the Mezraoui deal. Have you heard of Mezraoui?
Maybe.
Also at Ajax, so we're just signing former Ten Hag players, which is great. He's got a whole Dutch 11, but he's not Dutch. He's, I believe, Moroccan. He's right back, really good attacking play. Not had the best sort of time at Bayern ever since he's gone there. He was really well regarded at Ajax, but defensively leaves a bit to be desired. But I think a lot of people are sort of clowning on it because of how well Bissaka played in the final against City and how great he is defensively. However, with Ten Hag, he wants that system of attacking football and playing a high line. And Wan-Bissaka can play a high line, but he's just a bit of a dope when it comes to passing the ball and dribbling. So I agree with the move. I think you need to have that consistency in the position. With a midfield, hopefully we've got Mainu in there, who's a great player. Casemiro's still hanging about for some reason. Just
Mount getting in?
Mount did start this game. My feeling with Mount, he's just mid. Ever since we signed it, he's at Chelsea. He was pretty mid.
His first couple of years were really good.
Yeah, but was he that good? I don't think he's that good, personally. I think he's like Jesse Lingard. Like, I think he can, when he's heading on goal, I think he does have pretty good value, but like apart from that, he's not the best. But yeah,
Right.
I'm hoping that we're gonna
Anthony, he's still kicking about.
Anthony's still kicking about. Apparently, he came up with quotes saying that, "Be careful, I'm really good on my right foot now." No one believes you, mate. So good job. Xerxes and Højlund up top, looking promising there. Ahmad again, like I said, really promising. However, Sancho and Rashford look horrendous still. So that's good.
How is Sancho shit again? What is happening?
Because he's shit at United. He
How?
plays well in the Bundesliga because it's a slow league and he's a slow winger. It plays to his advantage. When he plays for, in the Premier League, when it's quick and fast paced, it's just not his game.
I was going to get a Sancho jersey. Because the new away jersey, the blue one?
Yeah.
It's pretty clean.
Well, it is clean, but don't get the Sancho one. I'd imagine.
But I don't really like any of the players like that.
All right.
So
Who's second? You could get Lenny. You're French. He's French.
But a centre back, do you really want a centre back jersey?
It's not the end of the world. What are you feeling? Mainu? You get him. Cobby?
Maybe. But there's no one. Like, I'm not getting Bruno Fernandes or Rashford.
Ahmad. Get Ahmad. Ahmad's a fucking gun. He's an absolute beast.
Is he?
Yeah, you watch. You got to watch. Are you going to watch some of the games this season, or?
It depends.
Depends
how
on.
they go.
Look, we'll be top of the league. I can guarantee you. Anyway, that's enough chat about the stinkiness of United. Now, hopefully we get top 4, but highly doubt it. Did you want to move on to a bit of MMA? I don't think we touched on the Tom Aspinall.
Oh no, we haven't.
Sort of storyline.
Yeah, so the English card happened 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. And yes, Aspinall won in 1 minute, I think, something like that. Knocked out Curtis Blades, defended his interim title, not the real title. So, but everyone thinks it's the real title. So it was a very, very good night there. Leon Edwards shit the bed completely in the main event.
Not great.
Lost the belt to Bilal Muhammad, the most boring, annoying guy you could possibly lose the belt to. And yeah, just a horrible performance from Leon. I cannot believe it. Bilal Muhammad is actually a UFC champion. It's unbelievable. But yeah, Aspinall, let's focus on him. Absolutely killed it. Clearly the best heavyweight in the world. He would destroy John Jones.
Really?
Yeah, kill him.
You think he'd kill John Jones?
Easily.
That's very... Look, John Jones, long time out of the sport, but, I mean, he's still John Jones. Like, even the reach, the skill of
John Jones is not as fast as Aspinall.
No, of course not. No one's faster than Aspinall, especially at John Jones's age. He's nowhere near as fast, but I feel like every time we doubt John Jones because of how long he's not been fighting for, he comes back and is just the best. Like, how unreal he is just, I don't think, talked about enough. Like, how dominant he was when the light heavyweight division was by far the best.
Yeah.
In the UFC.
But that was a long time ago now. I mean, his last light heavyweight fights were terrible. He arguably lost to Reyes. His fight against Anthony Smith was so-so. And Thiago Santos, again, was a close fight. And these are like mid-light heavyweights. They're all pretty much washed up now. So
does Stipe get... obviously Stipe's
yeah, the Stipe fight is absolute farce that they're even booking it.
Really?
Stipe is 43 years of age. He hasn't fought in 4 years, I think.
Yeah.
The last time he fought, he got flatlined by Ngannou. And they're expecting this to be a competitive fight somehow. It's like...
Well, it does seem like it's John Jones who's calling the shots. And obviously when you the talent and the star power of John Jones, you get to kind of do that. But it feels like... I just feel bad for Aspinall because he knows, and we all know, that he will not be universally regarded as an all-timer unless he beats John Jones.
Yeah, and John Jones... I would be confident in predicting he flatlines Stipe in the first round and retires because he doesn't want the Aspinall fight.
Yeah, I don't think... I think anyone with a brain realises that John Jones is toughest. Now, obviously, John Jones had harder fights probably in his career, but again...
I don't know.
I think he has probably.
Aspinall's fucking amazing.
Aspinall's great. It's tough. I love Tom. I think he's probably my favourite fighter because Connor's just not even a fighter at this point.
No.
But yeah, Tom Aspinall is an unreal fighter. However, has he faced a top-level competition? Now, he's faced the heavyweights. Now, he's faced some dangerous heavyweights. but has he faced the best of the best in terms of what John Jones faced? I mean, he faced Gustafsson prime, Daniel Cormier prime. He beat Daniel Cormier in his prime multiple times. I think Daniel Cormier...
On steroids, but...
yeah, but again, is Daniel Cormier... I think Daniel Cormier is probably a better fighter. And he obviously has a better legacy, but I think in his prime it's better than Tom Aspinall.
It would be interesting. Aspinall would definitely be a better striker. It's just whether DC could take him down. But
that's the thing. Where do you think... Okay, so say it does get made, the Tom Aspinall-John Jones fight. How do you think it goes? Do you think it's sort of on the feet? Do you think John Jones tries to take him down?
I think John Jones tries to wrestle. And I can see Aspinall stuffing it. But depends. I mean, we thought Cyril Gahn would have a decent chance against John Jones and he got taken down instantly and submitted. So... But yeah, that's the last time we've seen... We haven't seen actually John Jones fight extensively for 6 years. Or we had like 2 minutes against Cyril Gahn where he did nothing and just took him down and choked him out. So we actually have no idea what John Jones looks like on the feet, realistically, at this point in his career. So
why is it taking so long for this Miocic-Jones fight anyway?
Well, it was booked for November of last year originally. Jones tore his shoulder and just is... You know, I may have seen him in person. The guy was not taking his rehab seriously. So he's only just become fit.
Inside scoop right there.
Inside scoop. This was about 6 months. 6 months ago? Yeah, about 6 months ago. So...
Are you close with John, are you?
Well, you could say that. I wouldn't publicise that. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm friends with him, to be honest. Don't associate with him.
Does he know your name, do you reckon?
No. And I don't become friends with people like that. So,
okay. Oh, geez, all right.
What?
You want to become friends with the GOAT?
With people that, you know,
look,
domestic violence?
Look, he's had a checkered past. Very checkered past.
No. But anyway, yeah, so they've only booked it now because his shoulder's been healing or whatever, and now it's good to go. So...
When is it booked for?
Well, it's not officially booked, but they're saying November again. MSG.
Okay.
Which, like, have you seen Stipe train recently?
I don't think I've heard about Stipe for about 7 years.
I'm honestly, it looks like he can't even walk functionally anymore. So, it's like I don't know if you've ever seen Chuck Liddell training footage before.
Oh yeah,
the Tito Ortiz trilogy fight.
That was horrendous.
And it's just like, wow, this guy's gonna die.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of looking like that sort of matchup, in my opinion.
Great.
Obviously, you never know; anything's possible. But if the fact that they're allowing gambling on this fight is illegal, it's essentially just guaranteed winning of money.
What do you reckon the odds are for it?
It could not be more than $1.05. It would be daylight robbery if it is.
Are you putting the house on it if it's more than that?
I would be comfortable putting the house on it.
Fair play. And then Stipe knocks him out inside 1 second. You're like, oh no.
Oh no. Well, yeah, I mean, DC knocked out Stipe when no one thought he could, so...
Yeah, so at the end of the day, John Jones is going to do what John Jones wants to do. I don't think it ever is going to get materialized. I think everyone is on the sort of bandwagon that, look, this Stipe John Jones fight is going to look bad. However, John Jones is going to look less bad, so he's going to win.
Yeah.
And after that, John Jones is going to go nowhere near any of a guy like Tom Aspinall. Nowhere near. So, because he's not dumb. He knows.
But if it is a massive legacy fight for both guys. I mean, if John Jones John Jones beats Tom Aspinall, he is undisputedly the GOAT.
I think he already is. That's his thing. That if he had something to prove, I think he would do it.
There is doubt there. I mean, a lot of people exclude him because he's on roids his whole career. So,
but then beating Tom Aspinall won't change that, though.
It would, though, because you've finally done it allegedly off roids. Against the best heavyweight of this generation. That's 3 generations he would have destroyed.
Yeah. No, look, I do hear you, but I think Tom Jones, geez, not unusual. I think John Jones's legacy is already sort of set in stone. Beating the caliber of guy, no matter if he's on, you could be on the as much horsey as you want. There is no shot that. There is no shot that anyone can challenge his legacy. People say Habib, not enough sample size. John Jones, for a decade, was the best fighter in the UFC and the scariest fucking guy in the UFC. Now, you can say, Mighty Mouse, but Mighty Mass fights a guy that's 6 foot, he loses. So it's a bit of bias against smaller guys, maybe unjustly. And maybe a guy like Max Holloway is probably a bit down there because of his size. But I think when you have a light heavyweight and a heavyweight fighter, a light heavyweight / a heavyweight fighter who's that dominant against the best in the world, it's kind of hard to argue, no matter what he's on. Because everyone at that time was on something. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the Chael Sonnen thing, where he talks about he knows that John Jones is on the gear because he's on the gear and he can feel what on the gear is like. But yeah, I feel like everyone was on steroids. Yeah,
a lot of the people were back then. Vitor Belfort notoriously the whole time was on steroids. Brock Lesnar, Alistair Overeem. There were a lot of people on roids back then. DC, I feel like, wasn't, and Gustafsson as well. So there were people that weren't, Bisping, these types of guys. But yeah.
But Bisping was nowhere near. But
no, anyway. I know. But whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying. But
anyway, I reckon we should touch on Conor for a bit.
Conor.
Is there? I don't know any of the news. Is there any sort of news?
There's no news.
I saw him dancing.
This guy's never going to fight again. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I just feel bad for Chandler.
Chandler came out finally after 4 years of waiting and said, "I'm done waiting." He's going to look for a different fight.
Great.
And I'm honestly, I think he's double bluffing, and he's not going to look for another fight. He's just trying to.
He's like, "Yeah, Conor, I'm gone."
And then okay. Conor responded and said, "All right, good luck, loser. Max Holloway, where you at?"
He's like, "Yeah. Do you think I need you to make this fight? Yeah. You need me." I just feel I just hate the ring around. Like, just say to everyone, "I've got too much money. I'm living my life. I do not care. I do not want to fight anymore." Just say it. I don't know why he just goes, like, "I love the fighting. I love the game." And then he just clearly does not care.
Yeah. And, well, I don't know if you saw, he's bought a part of Bare Knuckle FC.
Yes.
And he's talking about, I want to get in this Bare Knuckle game, yeah? Like, shut up, cunt, and fight in the UFC. Or don't fight at all.
Yeah. But no. Yeah. I clearly it's not going to be anything, but I just feel like he knows that he's not going to be the best in the world, and I feel like that is part of the reason why he's just not interested. Wow, are you turning what are you doing? Is the volume coming through? What's going on?
Yeah.
Did you turn it off?
Yeah.
Anyway, a bit of a back end there, but I just think with Conor, it's just he feels like he's not going to compete at a high level. And what's the motivation? He doesn't need money. I mean, what is it? What's the reason why he would fight right now? And I think a lot of people have said that, but the common thing that Dana's pushed out and he's pushed out is, "I love the game." But they get to a point where, do you love the game? If you're out for that, I think when you're in it, I think when Conor was in it, when he was fighting every 6 months, you can love the game. But when you're out of it for so long, it's probably hard to get back into it. So
I think he still does love it and he wants to do it, but it's just hard. When he's got so many obligations now, it's hard to even find time to train realistically. So, yeah, it's hard. But I think when he wants to get back into it is when he sees the fights. Like when he saw the Gaethje Holloway fight, he would have been like, "Holy shit, that can be me. I want to do that again." So obviously he would never stand there and swing like that. He's not that type of fighter. But yeah, I feel like he does get inspired from his compatriots, and that sort of gets him going. But
then he's like, I want to go to this nightclub.
Yeah, I want to go on my yacht for 2 weeks, so let's push it back 2 weeks. And then I've broken my pinky toe.
Do you think it happens by the end of the... Do you think there is maybe a December date?
Yeah, maybe. It's very hard to say. I think he's still saying he'll get one in this year. Who knows? He said that last year, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, you cannot predict with confidence that he's going to fight again this year or ever, to be honest. So, yeah, sad times, but he probably would have got finished anyway. So, even though originally I was going to pick him against Chandler.
Would you pick him again?
I just don't know.
Because Chandler's been out for that long. It's kind of like...
It's like Chandler could be washed now as well. So...
He was almost semi-washed by the time he accepted the fight 4 years ago. It's just a bit...
wow. Sad end to a career there.
Sad, very sad.
Chandler.
Anyway, is there any other sport you'd like to sort of cap off?
We can go to some footy. NRL business end of the season.
Yes.
Finals are 4 weeks away. I think 4 weeks away.
4 weeks away.
Yeah, everyone's sort of starting to
pick up the pace.
Yeah,
the clear sort of good teams are being shown, and the clear inconsistent teams I think are being shown as well. Obviously, the Bulldogs are going on strong after their sort of win, a great rivalry game against the Dragons, and they played well. Do you think they'll get into the top 4 by the end of the year?
The Dogs, look, they're a chance. I think the Bulldogs are sort of the Warriors of this year, where they're everyone's fairy tale team, everyone's second team. So everyone's sort of supporting them at the moment. They're playing well. Their defense is obviously the second best after Penrith, so technically the best because you're never going to be better than Penrith. But yeah, their defense is really good. The attack is starting to come along. It just depends on, because they need Sharks or Roosters to lose games if they're going to make the 4. So,
well, yeah, I think the Sharks could definitely fall out of the top 4. I think
they just beat Gold Coast by 40 points.
Gold Coast. I mean, everyone's hyping up Gold Coast, but they're as inconsistent as anyone. Now, they've obviously done a great job to sort of claw their way back, but they're very inconsistent. And I'm not saying the Sharks at their peak are bad, but at their worst, they'd lose to the Tigers. So it's...
Yeah, I think the Dogs are a better team than the Sharks at this point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, I think the Doggies are... I think, especially with, obviously, the defensive game, and their main weakness probably is their big boys up top. But with Burden's kicking game, you saw yesterday... I mean, I think there was a play or a sort of a sequence with the Dogs yesterday where they got hemmed in. They had 3 tackles inside their own 10. Burden kicked from your own, their 20, but he can kick so far and so high that it just mitigates anything. And the Dragons could only take it back to their own 25. And it's kind of like, well, he just cancels out any bad sets from those big boys up top. So I think the Doggies can definitely make the top 4. Obviously, it's a bit inflate. I think the finals is going to be a lot trickier because if you look at their record more specifically, they're 9-0 at home and like 3-8 away. So it's kind of, if they travel up to Melbourne, are they going to win? Probably not. If they travel to Penrith, don't think they're going to win that either. Against the Roosters, I don't think they win that. And even if they travel to a Cronulla, I think they could win that. But again, if you're away from home...
Well, yeah, it depends. But a lot of the losses were at the start of the year. I mean, yesterday was away. They beat the Dragons in a big, highly publicised game.
Yeah, but
and their fans are travelling now.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing. I think the fans travelled to that game. And it was kind of like a Belmore atmosphere. But I feel like when they play against... If they play against... Obviously, the Broncos aren't in it. But if they played against, I don't know, a Dolphins or whatever, I feel like they'd struggle.
Yeah, but they would...
And they thrive off that atmosphere. They thrive off... You see Kick-Owl screaming through on kicks, or through if he's either, trying to charge down one, or if Burden's kicking one, he's fucking steaming up the middle. I think they thrive off that sort of atmosphere that they have at home. Whereas when they're away, it feels like they're in a shootout, or they're in a defensive battle every time, because they don't have the offensive... They don't have the clear offensive skill, I guess, closer to the line.
Yeah, but they've just got guys that are becoming sort of moment players. I mean, obviously, Stephen Crichton is just insane.
Yeah, he's unreal.
He is absolutely incredible. Probably my favourite player now in the comp. Just absolutely
legend. What about Moyes? You said
in the comp. Yeah.
Matt Moyes.
Oh, I did check up on Super League.
Yeah, how was he going?
Yeah. Well, Man of Steel ladder. Guess who was in second place?
Is that like the...
Dalian.
Yeah.
M. Moylan.
Matty Moylan. Coming on strong. Maybe an NRL comeback is in the offing.
I'm saying that. Although we've just signed Blaze Talangi allegedly. Before that, I would have been in favour of getting him back.
Would you? Really? Okay. It's kind of like the Peachy thing. When you sign Peachy back, you're like, yes, Peachy's back. Like,
he was good last year. This year he's shit the bed a bit, but he's retiring at the end of the year. Thank you for a great career, mate. Hopefully they let him play the last game of the season, because obviously it's not going to matter if we win or lose it. We've already solidified top 2. So they should give him a farewell game at the end of the year. But yeah, Blaze Talangi coming to us. That's big news.
What do you feel
allegedly, obviously,
at the moment? Obviously,
I feel we're going to win easily.
Look, you've always had a tough go against Parramatta, but
yeah, I would take nothing out of that game. in terms of where we're at
Parramatta
competition-wise.
horrendous, and you had your fully healthy team.
Not really.
Who was out?
Fisher Harris, Edwards.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sorensen.
I mean, Dane Laurie's been good.
Yeah.
You were in a massive hole against Parramatta.
We were. But just...
And you've had
we
a
were in a
couple
hole,
of them.
We were in a hole against the Dolphins.
Yeah, you've 2 weeks in a row. You've against the Dolphins and Parramatta. You've looked really dodgy for 60 minutes.
Yeah, but it's all... It doesn't matter what we look like for 60 minutes. We just win every game. I mean, the Broncos had us beaten
But against the
last year.
Storm, are you going to do that? I'm not saying that you're not a clear contender, because you obviously are. But against the Storm, are you going to be able to give away 60
But
minutes?
I don't think we're honestly, I don't think we're really fully locked into these games. I feel like we're just treading water at this point until the finals.
Okay.
And I've just seen us turn it on so many times before that I just have ultimate faith that we're going to win.
Do you think Melbourne is going to pip you, though? Do you have a feeling that you don't think it, even if it's Melbourne Penrith final, are you tipping? Obviously, you are a Panthers fan, but do you have any sort of concern about Melbourne? Because a lot of people...
Not really. Did you see them? They lost to the Dragons and they played terribly this week, and they won, but they played terribly.
Melbourne, though. Like, they were unreal against the Roosters. I think when they have to turn it on, they do.
But the Roosters just play like water against any good team, so...
That's not true.
Isn't it?
No.
The stats would say that they do.
No, the stats say that we were crap against Melbourne.
And Penrith.
Those are we haven't had, I think, what is it, one win from 20-something?
Yeah.
Against Melbourne. But everyone else, I mean, we dominate.
Yeah, but you have to beat those teams to win the comp.
Well, that's the thing. It's a bit of a tricky dicky one. You probably have to beat either at least one of them to win the comp. So I think what was the closest we got to winning against you? I think it was in a finals. I think it might have been early.
You haven't played us in the finals since we...
No, we have. I remember we were at the pub watching it, and I think it was some like last minute thing that you won. Like you won in the last minute. I remember Brett Morris had like a couple of tries or something. It was a couple of years ago now, so pretty a bit ago. But no, I think it's a good. I have no faith if we come up against Penrith or Storm, but that's by the by.
Well, you never know. I mean, Marky Mark's just arrived. I've seen. I mean,
he's not going to play this year though.
I'd play him. I've seen. I don't know if you watched him in the sevens in the Olympics.
I did.
He played, I think, probably 1 minute across the entire tournament.
Yeah,
and he was insane.
Yeah, he was Australia's sort of bright light in terms of future.
I mean, he's easily better than Dom Young right now.
Yeah,
easily.
I think that's pretty clear.
But
no, I think you got to sort of ease him into it though. I don't think you can.
Well, I mean, you see how he looks at training, but if he's better than Dom Young, you put him in.
Well, that's fair.
But yeah, I'd be picking him for Rookie of the Year next year for sure. I think he's gonna be. I think he's got Origin. All over him.
Be dominant.
Even though it's so hard to get into that Blues team, but
fair play. Anyway, I think that's it. I think that wraps us up. Not much to talk about basketball, unfortunately. But it's all going to kick off. It is going to kick off. It's going to kick off in a big way, and you better get ready for it. Obviously, Premier League starts soon. It's the closest one. Then NFL gets into it. Obviously, I'm very keen on that. We need to start a fantasy league.
Fantasy league?
NFL. But we don't have enough mates that are fucking into NFL. That's a problem. We need to get them into it. We need to grill them. We need to say, look, this is how you do it. This is the big time right here. Because it is an absolute world of fun. Nothing I love more than fantasy. It is the best thing.
But I always get into it before the season starts.
No, you get into it. No.
Done.
The problem with Premier League fantasy is that everyone has the same team, like, after, like, week 8, because it's clear to see who the form players are in the league and who's going to be good, and everyone just transfers in players. So it's kind of dead after the first 8 weeks. NFL fantasy, you draft players. So every team, obviously every person has a different sort of team, and you root for different games, and it gets you into the games itself. It's like fucking betting every game of the NFL. There's not a monetary thing on every game. It's a monetary thing at the end of the year. So definitely something I'm going to get into. Got to get you into it. But yeah, keen for that to start, and hopefully the NFL season kicks off fantastically for my Chargers.
Who's favourites? The Chiefs again?
Chiefs, obviously. Ravens are a really good team. Bills lost a lot, so I don't think they're going to be as up there But yeah, it's always Chiefs, really.
It's
always gonna be
Holmes,
Chiefs.
just cheat code.
He is.
Just
He absolutely
Kelsey's
is.
pretty old now, surely.
He is. But yeah, anyway. Good to chat about sport anyway. Good to chat about the Olympics is the main thing, as that's sort of tipping off. And we've got how many athletes did we send to the Olympics? Do you know?
No.
Well, I know that 99.99% of the athletes were obviously did the country proud, and good to see that Australia. Hopefully, are we still third for the Olympics?
I think we are tied with Japan currently.
Okay.
Or we're ahead of them because we have more
Do
silver.
you get like an extra bronze medal for coming third? Is that how that works? Or
I don't think so.
A bronze
I think it's just a
medallion or
morality,
bronze trophy?
just a morality thing,
Fair play.
just a ego thing.
But anyway,
America obviously going to win, unfortunately.
America.
Yeah.
But they send like 5 athletes into every single event. So it's just hard.
America and China should be cancelled from winning.
Yeah,
When you have a billion people.
Yeah, if you think about it, we're actually winning.
Yeah.
That's how, because America and China cancel themselves out. The real, it's like fucking semi-pro. Have you seen semi-pro? It's like the battle for 4th. Battle for 3rd is the real trophy. Okay?
It really is.
It is the real thing. Anyway, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed, and have a great rest of your day. Like and subscribe. See you later.
Peace out.